Welcome back, everybody, to Black Bull Podcast. We have a crew here today. Yeah. We got a street artist, goes by Citizen.
What's up? How's it going?
Also accompanied by our great friends, Creative Credentials, Harbin and Oilong. Welcome back.
Hello.
Hi.
And of course, Ben.
Yeah, I'm always here.
What's up, Ben?
So with Citizen, of course, everything is anonymous in his appearance, his name, for obvious reasons. But just run us through what you like to do.
I basically try, and I just bring my art to the streets. I love being a part of the culture, the subculture. Just giving back to the community. It started with a friend of mine giving me a stack of 228s, which are the priority shipping mail labels that you often see everywhere.
I remember that because they're free.
Yes, they are free. And with a couple markers, and I started by drawing a lot of funny puns and little images, and then it grew eventually into this alien, and from there it kind of began its own thing that I was feeding without really even knowing it, and it's ultimately just became a part of my everyday life.
I want to just say, do you think that there's something to those free stickers that those postal services give out? Because I know that was like a huge thing within our circle growing up, like kids that skate, kids who are just like in the streets, they usually get those. I don't know why.
Yeah.
And they somehow turn it into art. It like branches off into some creative source in one way or another. Is that like common in most circles?
I mean, I'm not sure. I know. I think it's just easy because, growing up, you don't have a lot of money. And a lot of the time in these art classes in schools nowadays, you kind of have a set regiment of art that you have to do to be good or please, the greater art crowd. And I think not everybody works that way. And that's kind of how they get involved in street art, because they can express themselves without judgment, and and people come to you that like your art. So.
It's just different. It's more freedom.
Yeah.
Would you run us through, like, you have this common theme with this alien guy?
Yeah.
Is there like a meaning behind that, something deeper we don't know about?
Totally. I believe aliens are out there. I believe, in some pretty crazy stuff that probably would take longer than we could talk here. But in a brief sense, I think we all are the same on the inside in a way of a spirit form that is not from this earth. And I think when we can shift our perspective that way, we don't look at race, we don't look at whether you're an immigrant or whatever. You just can see the beauty in each and every person. And that's kind of what the alien for me represents, is a way to show that we got to start unifying together and being aware of more than just ourselves.
Can you describe what the street art culture's like from the inside?
It's very tight. Everybody, there's mad love from everybody. All different forms of art from all different types of people. Everybody's very supportive of each other. There's not really a lot of people who bring a lot of negativity. There's a few people, but we don't like to talk about them or feed that type of conduct in our city. But we're all very, very supportive of each other, for sure.
I feel like where there's risk, there's support.
Yeah.
And there's definitely like a fine line between typical graffiti and street art.
Yeah.
I mean, why don't you like run people through that difference? Because I feel like it gets misconstrued a lot and people just consider it all the same thing, but it's not.
Right. Well, I mean, in a way, graffiti is street art. Because you have people, that do tags, but I mean, if you really break it down, that's just a form of typography, which is an art form in itself. There does seem to be different rule sets for There's like one big umbrella of rule sets that everybody seems to follow, and within that umbrella are other little umbrellas of different communities. You have stickers, you have wheat pastes, tagging, graffiti, and they all just kind of, we had a big art show this last weekend called Bridges. It's all about bridging the gaps of the different art forms. We had break dancers, taggers, wheat paste, sticker artists all come together to throw on one big show for everybody, and it was awesome. So I mean, when you get it all together, we're all the same and we all build each other up, and that's what's important with the street art.
I'm just kidding. I think it's really cool that like even though you do the street art, you still find a way to have a show and to like actually people sell it and monetize from it,
right,
and bring that culture together in that way in a more formal sense, because you could just spray it on a wall and then leave it and then it gets painted over and it's gone forever.
Right, and that's also kind of the beauty about it. I mean, I know for me, when I see a piece that's decaying and has been weathered with the elements for over a year, it just brings a certain aesthetic to it that I think everybody kind of admires. And I mean, it's also just, that's part of the street game. It's easy. It doesn't last forever. You don't know what's going to last, and it's kind of the allure a little bit of it for sure.
But what do people paint over it?
Well, yeah, that's what we call the buff man.
Well, but another street artist painting over your art.
That happens. There's like there's kind of like, I guess, unwritten rules. Like you obviously don't go and paint, or the people who do paint and do hand styles usually follow, what I meant by follow different rules is often there are people who will go over our known paste walls, like on Mississippi or Alberta, and it's kind of just it's a blank canvas for us. So we're like, okay, cool, we get to get up again on the new wall, and it's just kind of how it works. I mean, obviously, if you have artists within the community that are trying to start beef with somebody, usually people will try and keep that within themselves. Nobody really gets involved with that. It's because it's ultimately that's not what we want to create, is beef with other artists. But it happens.
Street art pirates,
yeah,
just coming out and stealing space.
Yeah,
that's too bad.
It happens, but it's why we just come back. So
right, yeah. I mean, that's the loudest statement you can make, is to keep doing it.
Mm-hmm.
How do you concept your paintings?
It all started from one drawing of the alien that I've just taken over and over again until it's kind of started to form what it is now. Every once in a while, when I'm bored of it, I will take that original alien that I used, and then I will build off that to make a new alien. Sometimes I'll use a light table with a sticker of a design, and I'll draw off that. Other time, and then usually what I'll do is I will bring it into Illustrator, and I'll clean up the lines. I'll make it to whatever shape I really want. I'll play around with other designs in Illustrator, and then I'll print it.
Yeah. So you have stickers, you wheat paste, you what all do you do?
I've done stencils as well. I'm starting to get into more intricate stencil work. I have with designs and flower of life and all that kind of stuff. Trying to integrate more patternings into my designs lately.
That's cool.
Love patterns. Bias to patterns.
What's your biggest piece that you've worked on so far?
My biggest piece was probably one of the pieces about 4 feet by 4 feet that I sold, or I didn't sell. I sold it at the Bridges show. I had this at the Bridges show, and it's still available, actually. If anybody wants it, you can DM me.
We'll be sure to list off your Instagram.
Yeah, definitely.
Sure.
You can find me at CTDZN Citizen.
There we go.
But yeah.
Can you pull this up a little closer?
Yeah.
I was wondering, so street art's, traditionally been kind of a counterculture, right?
Right.
But if you're using Adobe to
Right.
design your stuff, so that I'm just like, I'm not like calling anyone out. I'm just saying that the culture must have shifted a little bit.
Well, I think it's all about you finding what tools work best for you to create whatever's in your mind. When people in the graphic design industry are being like, "What's your favorite program? Is it Illustrator or Photoshop?" And I mean, it's like, well, they're both used for different things. Photoshop's mainly to edit photos and pixel based, and Illustrator is
Vector based.
Vector based, thank you.
Yeah.
And they're just different tools in a tool belt, and I just like to add any type of tool I can to that belt.
I think like with the age of digital design, if you have the resources, you might as well do it.
Yeah.
Like I literally have 8 Adobe programs on my computer. They're all for like very specific things, but why not use it? I guess you could make movies in Photoshop.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Technically,
Essentially.
I think. I mean, the technology is amazing, and it's hard to argue against Adobe at all.
Yeah.
Really. I was just pointing out from like a cultural standpoint. I think
Right,
I think it's
right.
practical. If you came to me and you're like, "Hey, I want to do street art. You think I should get Adobe?" I'd be like, "Yeah."
Well, I mean, and like,
I don't know why anyone would come to me and ask that, but
yeah. No, totally. I mean, and that's just when I'm like designing a new sticker or a new design.
right. Well, because it's
Like,
just
I
so
mean,
easy to get your ideas out if you know how to use it. It's just like
Right.
boom.
It
Yeah.
streamlines the process.
Yeah, and then if you need to Photoshop it somehow or make a video out of it, it's just like boom, it's right there. You just transfer it over to one of the other Adobe programs, and it's
Right.
seamless. It's crazy. Yeah. So not a knock on Adobe.
No,
we
no,
all
no,
use
no.
Adobe here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know where I'd be if Adobe didn't exist.
yeah,
To be totally
yeah,
honest.
yeah.
I feel
It's kind of insane.
yeah, the other programs are just so mediocre to me. But I don't know. I guess I don't give them a chance.
I
really don't.
have. I've given them a
Yeah.
chance, and they're worse. Most of them. I haven't tried them all, but like so many programs I use, and then I go to Adobe, and I just be like, oh my god, it's just so much better. It just seems like they have more people spending more time developing the programs.
They
There's
all
so
cross
much
over,
thought
too.
put. And they all cross over. Not only that, but there's just so much thought put into each individual program and the workflow, and like who's using this the most, and that you can tell that they're thinking about that and then implementing that into the UI. And so even if it doesn't make sense at first, once you get the ball rolling, you're like, oh, okay, this is way better than kind of a hyper user friendly thing for beginners, which
Yeah.
might be what some people are looking for. But even if you are a beginner, you're going to learn it pretty quick, in my opinion. If you ever used any kind of program before.
So you find a lot of people are using Adobe programs to like initially render out their idea, at least
Yeah.
concept it a little more and refine it, and then they paste it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a few artists who use that. RX Skulls does that as well. There's a couple other artists around that use other programs like Photoshop. I mean,
Yeah.
I know my buddy uses like Photoshop 6 or something, like just some ancient piece of technology. And I'm just like, how? And he's like, hey, it works, man. And I'm like, hey, then that's all that matters is if you can, get your image out there easier and in more numbers, then go for it,
I found a
Wait.
Photoshop CD the other day. It was a CD. It was like
I
no.
think I still got mine.
The worst part about it is like the cover was not even the real cover. It was like printed off after. I was like, someone burned this CD and just like stuck it in there. It's like Photoshop 2
From high school or something.
dude.
Even
Like
before
middle school.
middle
It
school.
was so
Yeah.
wild. Yeah.
Wow.
See, I follow you on Instagram, and how do you not get caught?
Uh,
It's everywhere.
I mean, I've definitely had, security, come up to you. It's always better if it's security versus the police.
Do you have a lookout, like a person out there?
Usually, yeah.
Yeah.
You'll have a lookout if you're pasting or spraying. You'll have a lookout. You've also have to watch out for civilian vigilantes who try and come and reap justice on you. I mean, they're the ones that you really got to look out for because they'll follow you, they'll chase
Really?
you. Oh yeah, I've been chased and followed by a guy before, and you got to be smart to outwit him and get out of there, you know.
Shit.
And you're just over here like, dude, I'm just trying to put my art up over here. Like, why you gotta, like, come on. And you know, just you got to trust your gut a lot too, you know, being like, hey, is this just a bad area that I should be doing this right now? Are there too many people out? You know, are there a lot of patrols lately? It's just being aware.
What mistakes do you see a lot of beginner street artists make?
I mean, it's just not knowing who other people are, I think, but not in a way that, because I don't really think, I think mistakes are good in a way. It's not so much a mistake as it's like, are they trying to do their own thing? You know, because that's how new ideas come up of executing. And you know, I've seen everything from that insulating foam being used to for like signatures to stickers made on compost stickers that's supposed to go in a dumpster. I mean, there's so many different ways. It's hard to really justify like, well, what's a mistake and what's you know.
I was gonna kind of ask you, like, what do you see that sets people apart, or like how do people be innovative in the street art culture? And I think you kind of went in with like the puff expanding insulation stuff, but like, you know, people have to try something different other than just spraying and wheat pasting. Like, what else would they do?
People do installation art. So sometimes you'll see, like Woke Face, she does installation art. She just screws in a lot of wood cutouts of her woke faces that she puts on the wooden poles around town, and other cool cutout designs. There's a couple other artists that kind of do the same thing with little plastic beads formed into a creature or a yard sale, which he has little clay squares that just say yard sale. He just glues on places. And there's also, maybe you've seen around town, the little rings that are on the curbs. Those were for, you know, back when horses were used in Portland.
Yes, I've seen those.
Yeah, and there's a street artist that goes and chains little toy horses to those chains.
Oh, dude, we literally
God.
we were at a taco shop the other day, and I was Snapchatting it because I thought it was so funny.
Yeah.
Little
Dude, we
So
were
clever.
that was one of the cooler things I've ever seen in Portland.
Yeah.
I was just like, what? Yeah. Like we pull up, I was like, there's a horse.
Yeah.
There's a little tiny horse chained up.
You're like, oh, it's for you. I'm like, no, this is an opportunity.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
funny. I like this.
Yeah. So I mean, there's all sorts of different ways people are executing their street art, and that's
like 3 blocks from here. It's like right up there.
oh
yeah.
great, I gotta go check that out.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk after this.
Yeah.
It's always a pleasure to see for sure.
Yeah, man. Well, that's cool. What would you say is like times that you perform the worst?
Probably when I'm not being patient with it. When I try and rush things, you know, you lose detail. You make you do actually make mistakes. Like maybe you didn't check a street like as you should have, as you normally do. Maybe you were ignoring your gut, and it ends up ruining like a piece you're trying to put up or something. You know, just feeling like, oh, I got to get out there right away when you know you're not prepared. That's probably yeah.
I think that goes for everything.
Yeah, totally.
I can be really impatient just in general.
Yeah, totally.
And I always will just like fuck some shit up, or like it just feels so rushed, and I'm clumsy with things, and it just doesn't come out as well as I hope. Do you ever notice, like, I was on a roof one time, and there were sensors on the roof, and the cops got called from the sensors.
Damn.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
I was with
I didn't know
I was
that.
with Gutsky.
Oh, really? When was this?
Dude, it was like out of high school.
Oh, okay. Weird.
Yeah, our sensors comment? This is so random.
I haven't been on too many rooftops yet. It's definitely, I do like to climb. I've been wanting to climb a little bit more, but I mean that's good to know.
You know, you can buy those like
You just gave him a tip.
yeah.
Thanks for the tip.
Those like those ninja hooks where it has like the string and has like the claw and you can throw it up.
Okay.
I literally found those on Amazon because I bought some nunchucks the other day and
Nice.
I'm trying to like get
Casually.
good. Yeah, I casually bought some nunchucks just because they were there.
What's going on with your identity right now? You buying nunchucks? He's trying to learn the goth dancing.
Oh yeah, I'm getting good at goth dancing,
dude. Yeah,
yeah. So
you have to do both at the same time and swing the nunchucks around while you're goth dancing.
it's actually
Good prop.
Was that the whole? Oh, you tried already.
no, I can't do both at the same time. I realized I gotta commit to one day that I gotta like focus on goth dancing or focus on my ninja skills, and I think I actually just gotta focus on goth dancing right now. But I did find out that you can buy those hook claw things and you can scale up a wall. I don't know how legit it is, but I might get it on Amazon. I'll let you know how good it is.
Yeah,
because
thank you.
I live on like
That'd
if I lose my keys, I could just throw on the balcony and scale up like that.
Might as well just don a cape too, and then I'll be good.
Yeah,
dude. Then no one will question you.
like a little Zorro mask too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we do focus a lot on like mental health and shit. We focus on mental health and shit. You know, so, but like I was kind of trying to touch on that a little bit. Like when you've performed the worst, like what do you do that helps you prepare for these? Because it seems like you have to go out at really late nights when no one's out. How do you mentally prepare for a night of spraying, pacing, whatever you do?
How to keep your head in the game?
Yeah.
I eat well. you got to feed yourself so your mind can be sharp. You know, smoothies every day. But I think just kind of getting a game plan, you know, like knowing where I want to go, what places need a little love. Because sometimes it's just as easy as being like, oh man, like I've been kind of stressed out today. I just want to go for a walk. But, you know, what makes a walk more fun? Well, a big handful of stickers, you know, you get to put up. And then, you know, as you, and I think it just comes from a lot of just the stress of being in the city every day, not being able to go out and be where we were meant to be, you know, not in this daily work grind. And it just kind of helps relax from that. And so I think a lot of it is just being excited to have that release.
That's like the theory with the cacophonous, like the cacophonous society. It's basically what Fight Club was based off of. How you got to get away from the daily routine and just set yourself in a completely different environment to like reset your soul in a way.
Right.
Totally. So I totally relate to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel you on that, man.
Interesting. Cool.
What else have we got?
I don't know. You got any other questions?
What about tips for people trying to get into it?
Yeah, that's a great one.
Tips, you know, just be honest with what you're trying to create, and you know, be yourself. Be open and, you know, nice to people, or don't be nice, but it's always cooler when you're nice. And just keep a lookout, because that's half the fun. Like and like walking around and finding a sticker that you see everywhere and being like, oh, I wonder who that is. You know, I want to go find them. And then you scour the Instagram to see if you can find them somewhere. And that's really half the fun, is finding new people that come in and figuring out who people are. So, you know, just enjoy that, I guess, is what I would say.
Soon you're going to be able to just take a picture of the sticker and find it on Instagram instantly. It's going to be crazy.
That'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah. Cool. Name, social security number, address.
You guys
Oh, is there an event coming up soon?
Events.
Like,
I'm not sure. I'd have to check my calendar.
There is, we'll post it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if
Are you going to show at Creators Block? You want to show it? We're having an event here.
that's the one I told you about.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he'll be at Creators Block.
Okay, cool. I will be there.
Yeah,
Cool.
Look for
that'll
me.
be good. Well, we appreciate you coming on, man. It was a good conversation. I think a lot of people will find interest in this for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
I found it interesting.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too.
That was
I don't know
awesome.
much about street art, so this is really cool.
Awesome. Cool.
Yeah. Thanks again for coming on. We really appreciate it. Thanks, Oi Long and Harbin for coming on. And thanks, Nick, as always, for running the cameras.
Hey.
And we will see you guys next week.
Bye.
Peace.